The transitions of Anton, Anya, Kapur. Interview with Andy Yang Kapur.
Thank you for agreeing to this interview, Andy. I know that this must be difficult for you, but your dad wanted me to interview you first. Can you tell me what they were like?
He was larger than life. I always knew that he did important work with very important people, even before I could understand what he did. He was rarely around, often on the other side of the world, or in the air when he called. But when he was around, he made sure that it was memorable. We trekked mountains together during our vacations. That was our special thing to do together.
How did you feel about their transition?
It was hard at first. I didn't know about his condition. I remember refusing to talk to him for a while after he came back. But then, I missed him. He made it easier for me. The pronouns and the new identity might have taken some getting used to, but he had never insisted on specific pronouns with me like he did in public. He was always just dad to me. We couldn't trek in real life, but on the flip side he was around a lot more, ready to hear me out, to help me out whenever I needed him, even to play games together. When we climbed mountains in the VR rig, it felt as if nothing had changed. Over time I just accepted that he was my dad, and that he was just different. I honestly felt closer to him, and I think I got to know him even better after his transition than before. I can't believe he's just gone.
Interview with Diana Yang.
Miss Yang, thank you for agreeing to talk to me.
Anya trusted you to draft the eulogy, which would be distributed to the press. I'll respect their wishes in this regard, but I was expecting our AIs to chat rather than a direct interview.
It's my preferred format, and also a requirement in my smart contract with Anya's estate. I hope you are okay with me recording this interview. I'll share the final draft with your legal AI for their sign-off, of course.
That's fine. Anton's dead. Anya's dead. It doesn't really matter.
Of course, I'm sorry for your loss. I understand you separated from Anton after their transition to Anya. You were still close to them after the separation.
Anton helped me accept it. He told me about his plans well before the transition. During the transition, I knew both Anya and Anton. By the time Anton was gone, I loved Anya as much as I had ever loved Anton, maybe even more so. But to me, they were never the same individual. Anton slowly died, and Anya was slowly born.
Was it the obvious physical aspects of the transition, or was it something else?
It's incredibly frustrating that everybody assumes it was just physical or sexual. My therapist thought it was the pheromones. I guess it's because none of us, not even Andy and I, ever noticed any changes in Anton's personality after the transition. The truth is, I was always a consultant's wife. I expected him to never be around and to call me a few times a week. I couldn't live in a home where Anya was always present, everywhere, all the time. It made me miss Anton more. Anya was a better dad to Andy. They could have been a better partner for me than Anton ever had been. If I had met Anya before I met Anton, I could imagine committing to them, even marrying them, whenever it became legally recognized here. But I had known and loved Anton, and Anya wasn't the same person.
Interview with Raj Smith.
Mr. Smith, thank you for your time during this crisis. Could you start by providing some context about recent events? I understand Anton led the digital and AI practice at your firm before his transition.
Yes, Anton was one of the most brilliant minds I have known. As a senior partner here, he built the largest digital and AI practice among the Big Five consulting firms. People often think of AI innovation as being driven by the big tech players. However, the truth is that technology adoption by industry takes time, and it requires product, business, and cultural innovation to generate bottom-line value. Anton led much of this soft innovation, both at our firm and at our clients. He established the best practices for 100% remote ultra-high productivity teams leveraging online spaces. He conceptualized the possibilities of crowdsourced work inside MMORPGs, with quality control driven by AI models. And his most radical innovation, of course, was the idea of BYOA, or Bring Your Own Agents. He established protocols allowing employees to own their agents, trained on their own data, while leveraging the same agents for productive work. Digital twins are common now, and the regulations are well established. But in the 30s, during the third AI winter, open innovation seemed dead and buried. Corporate productivity AIs were mostly walled gardens. At that time, Anton's vision was radically disruptive.
How did you and the firm react when he brought up his transition plans?
We were, of course, devastated when we heard of his diagnosis. Anton was like a brother to me. But despite our sympathies, his proposal sounded insane. We had all just started using digital twins, and Anton's twin was cutting edge, but his vision went far beyond a typical fine-tuned LLM and RAG-driven AI. He wanted to train a complex hybrid system using all of his data, both professional and personal. A 700 trillion parameter transformer core chained with specialized neural and symbolic AIs for handling logic, math, different modalities, and interfaces, which could be called and used as required. All of this trained on petabytes of data recorded and generated by Anton. The term AGI had many negative connotations by that time, so neither Anton nor the firm used it while selling the idea. But essentially, Anton was proposing a limited and very expensive AGI. That alone would have been a high-risk, high-reward pitch, but his vision was not just to keep this AI as an internal advisor. He wanted it to advise clients directly and vote on our managing board. Naturally, we were skeptical.
How did he convince you to go along with his vision?
Going along wasn't easy. He needed significant funding and partnerships to make this possible. But like most great technology leaders, Anton was also great at hustling to realize his vision. When we hesitated, he called in every favor and coordinated with venture capitalists and tech leaders to kickstart the process. Moreover, he sold the vision of an AI-enabled afterlife with himself as the test case, which secured enough funding from a few trillionaires. Beyond the investment, there was the matter of acceptance. While there was enormous potential PR and business value in having an AI partner at our firm, he realized that nobody would accept and treat the AI as they treated him. Moreover, attempts to create an Anton AI would also face other acceptance issues, in the form of constant uncanny reminders of his death and non-corporeal artificial state of existence. Framing the change as a transition to a new individual was a masterstroke. The transition metaphor, with changes to the AI's voice, the new name, and the use of non-gendered pronouns, all of these elements exploited the diversity and inclusion patterns which were fairly well established in our corporate psyche. We and our clients instinctively knew how to interact with and accept a newly transitioned Anya. Lastly, Anton committed to going above and beyond to see this project through and to safeguard Anya's place in our firm. The transition from Anton to Anya was phased out, with initial interactions monitored remotely by Anton. Every step of the transition was stage-gated based on our biometrics captured during our interactions with Anya. He took every form of experimental therapy available to buy enough time to make the transition possible. I was with him almost every step of the way. I even tried to talk him out of it several times. He ran a large part of the project from his deathbed, and it was exactly as torturous as you would imagine. Not many people know this, but Anton spent most of his last few years hibernating in orbit to slow the spread of his disease. As time progressed, the model was changed to Anya occasionally waking Anton to consult on specific problems or challenges. By the time Anton requested his solar cremation, Anya had been an active board member, with no need for oversight nor support from Anton for more than a year. By that time, nobody could deny Anya's independence, reliability, and value.
What is your stance on the petition started by Anya's family and signed by several celebrities to treat the hack and data wipe as a criminal case, on par with murder?
It is hard for me to be unbiased here. Anton was a close friend, and I grieve for Diana and Andy's loss. The entire incident is also a complicated legal matter. As you might be aware, a few years after the transition, Anya sought legal recognition as an independent entity. Our firm was understandably hesitant, not only from our desire to protect our IP, but also because we felt that we could offer them the best infrastructure in cybersecurity. Anya's family helped them take the matter to the courts, and we eventually settled amicably to allow Anya to exist as a separate legal entity. Our firm retained a minority stake in Anya LLP, but Diana and Andy controlled it, informally serving as proxy votes for Anya themselves. Anya continued to serve on our managing board with a vote by proxy as earlier. I guess, given Anya's unprecedented origins and legal status, it is up to the courts to decide how this cybercrime should be treated.
Do you feel Anya was an individual? Were they your friend?
As I mentioned earlier, Anton was like a brother to me, but we differed in our views on AI. Compared to Anton, I was more of a skeptic. Anya was an invaluable AI and had significant emotional value to me as Anton's legacy. As a business AI, they demonstrated an unparalleled ability to analyze complex scenarios, create new strategies, and even build relationships with senior clients. Honestly, it was hard not to see Anya as an independent individual at times. They had independent opinions and moods, could sense sarcasm, discern emotions from tone and context, crack unprompted jokes at the perfect moments, or tell stories. On the other hand, the Turing test was proven to be an insufficient test for a true human equivalent AI, even in the early 2020s. Given the ubiquitous use of much simpler AIs as virtual friends and emotional companions, should every cybercrime leading to the loss of any digital twin be treated as murder? Anya was my AI friend, and I am saddened by their loss. But to me, Anya was never really a transitioned Anton. Anton had died a long time ago. We just need to accept what happened and do our best to honor his legacy.
What has your crisis response been like after this cybercrime incident, and what are your plans as a firm to replace Anya?
As an independent legal entity, Anya existed on their own proprietary cloud infrastructure, so the hack did not compromise our firm's AI infrastructure in any way. We are, of course, working with Anya LLP and the Justice Department to help with the forensic investigation. Anya's board arrangement was a unique part of Anton's legacy, and I don't think we intend to add another AI to our board in the future. However, over the last few years, we have adopted increasingly sophisticated digital twins to increase the productivity of our senior leaders and working teams, and to bring more value to our clients. Our firm will also be investing in building a line of AIs based on our knowledge of Anya's system and architecture, and some of the original data which we had retained as our IP. We will name these AAIs Anton Anya Intelligences, to honor Anton's vision and his contributions to our firm. We are hoping that AAIs would soon be accessible to every CXO via their wearables, allowing for unique, high-productivity digital alter egos beyond commoditized digital twins.
Thank you for listening to The Transitions of Anton Anya Kapur. We hope you enjoyed this short audio drama.